Hi, sixth grade Euphonium players. It's Mr. Y, obviously. I'm here with your finals for the year. Your finals for the year in the Essential Elements book are number 55, Essential Elements Quiz, number 67, number 74, and number 107. I'm going to walk you through each one and show you where the weird stuff is. Then I'll play it for you to show what it sounds like, and you can submit it to me on email anytime you like, or you can do it live here in class, of course. So we'll start with number 55, Essential Elements Quiz. This one is in the easy key signature B-flat concert you're from fourth grade, so that shouldn't be a problem. We do have some 16th notes, though, of course, and some slightly weird rhythms, some syncopations in the last measure, and watch out for the rests in the second line and the first beat of the first measure and the second measure. Remember, the hard thing about 16th notes is not the 16th notes, really, it's the quarter notes, because they feel like they're so long. So make sure you give those quarter notes and the quarter rests a whole beat of either note or rest. Okay, 55. Remember, it's forte all the way through in this one, so the dynamics are easy. There are a few accents, actually, in the, let's see, the last measure on the first line, and then a couple measures on the second line, there are accents. So watch out for those. First measure, second measure, and last measure on the second line. So. So you can hear the accents on the last three B flats in the first line, and then the E flat in the second line, and the C in the second measure in the second line, and the F in the last measure on the second line. Okay, moving on to 67. This is the A flat scale study. Remember, you've got four flats in this particular song. B flat and E flat, the normal ones, plus A flat is that one in the bottom space there, and then D flat is the fourth note up in the scale. So A flat, remember, first valve. D flat would be second and third valve, okay, in this case. And then the high A flat also you have as first valve. So really it's the fourth note you got to watch out for. There are some rhythms in the second line that are a little strange, you know, the 1 and a 2, 3 and a 4, that kind of thing. But 67 should sound something like this. Not really too many details here. Just make sure, again, that the A's are flat, first valve, and then the D's are flat, second and third valve. And you should have no problem at all. Moving on to 74. 74 is in the same key signature. So you still have B flats, E flats, A flats, and D flats. Again, A flat and D flat. And there's a DC Euphonium in this one too. So you do play the first line, then you play the second line, and then you go back and repeat the first line again. That's the DC part. The Fine is at the end of the first line. There are some dynamics here. You have forte on the first line, as well as one little accent at the end of the line. The A flat there has an accent on it, the very last note of the first line. And then it goes to mezzo piano for the second line. There's a crescendo in the last measure before the DC Alfine, because you come back up to forte for the first line again. So forte, and then mezzo piano, and then forte again for the ending line. Okay. Again, the A flat. This is how it should sound. Again, that accent on the very last note, that happens twice, I guess. Don't go so quiet on the second line that you get a bad sound, of course. You always want to get a good sound. Sound is always the most important thing when you're playing any instrument. Nobody cares if you can play Flight of the Bumblebee at 6,000 miles an hour if you have a bad sound. Okay, moving on to 107. This is the chromatic scale. This is, remember, every single note between the low B flat and the high B flat. They do have two different names. They can be called by a sharp name or a flat name, as the top of the page will explain to you. If you can't remember what I talked about there, you can look at that. So, some fingerings here that you might need to know. The B flat at the beginning, of course, is easy, no fingers. Then we have B natural. That's kind of an unnatural note for the euphonium, but it is all three valves. You can ignore my fourth valve here, by the way. But the B natural is all three valves. Then, of course, we have C. C sharp, or just like the D flat you just played in the last one, is second and third valve. Then we have D, of course. D sharp would be the same as E flat, which you know very well is first valve, so that's not a big deal. The E natural is middle valve. The F, of course, regular, no valves, Fs. F sharp might be one you've not seen before. That's second and third valve. Okay, then we have G. Then we have the G sharp, which is the same as A flat, the A flat enharmonic, like it says there. First valve. You do have an A natural at the top, and then the final B flat. Then coming down, it's really the same thing. B flat, A flat would be the same as G sharp, first valve. G flat would have been the same as F sharp you had coming up for the second and third valve. Then F, E natural, middle valve, E flat, D, and then remember D flat is second and third valve, just like we played a couple times on the quizzes already. You have C, and then you have B natural, all three valves, and then low B flat. Remember, this one does have to be memorized, okay? But I don't think you'll find it too hard to memorize if you play it just a couple of times a day. You don't have to go fast, remember, you can go nice and slow. Remember, use lots of air for that nice big full sound. Good luck, sixth graders. Thanks. Bye-bye.